Hello guys, so we've got a deck profile review of one of my own custom decks. It's extremely competitive and it's been played once or twice and it's definitely proven its worth. So I'm going to be giving you the insight into this deck if you wanted to create it yourself. Now, let's have a look see. So the deck itself is called the Three Sisters. As you can tell, probably already guessed, they are three characters from GBE. You've got Kira, Iris and Sane. The deck is a two-colour deck, red and white. And the focus, the strengths about this deck is that if played correctly, it's almost indestructible. Cool thing about it is that the cards are pretty easy to play. The highest card cost you're going to need is one of which costs 3 red and one of which costs 3 white. So it's not too easy, but it's not too hard to play with. And then late game, it's just if you're not playing against a dragon deck, then it's going to be next to unless your opponent's deck is very removal heavy, you're not really gonna I don't think you're gonna lose with this deck. So, like I've just mentioned, the weaknesses is dragons. There are cards in this deck what says you get protection against a lot of things other than dragons and wyverns. So as long as you're not playing against that kind of deck, you're all gravy. The core, we're going to be using the Core of the Flame. Get it up on screen here. So, Core of Flames was 7,100 health, more than enough to keep you floating. It's pretty easy to play this deck. Whenever you play a red action, response, battle or unit, you can charge this core, so practically any card you play will charge the core. And once you've got 4 charges on the core, you get to deal 300 damage to the enemy core or any unit in play that's not red or blue. So more than often this is going to go straight to the enemy core to help your units out, because your units are mostly all weaker units. That extra damage to the core is really beneficial. You've got 2 royalty rares in the deck, obviously they're 2 different named ones. You've got Kira's and Sane's Reunion. Now straight away this is tying into the 2 of the 3 sisters. Kira and Sane cost red, white and 1 of any colour. Second you get this into play, it gives you the benefit of whenever you attack with a unit named Kira or Sane, negate the next 500 damage dealt to them during the battle phase. None of them units can miss when they roll for combat, so they are some really important things regarding this deck. The other royalty rare is the Land of the Immortals. It's going to be pretty much almost in every single deck, custom deck created, just because of how powerful this card is. It lets you generate 2 elements of any colour. However, at the start of your turn, you've either got to sack the land at the terrain, or you've got to lose 500 health. Start of the game, it's extremely powerful. Late game, you could probably get rid of it and replace it with some of the other terrains in the deck. The ultimate combo in this deck is to have the Wonder, which is what we've just mentioned then, the Reunion card, followed by a special terrain called Monsoon Souls, which is on screen now. Monsoon Souls is an uncommon special terrain that generates 1 red, and it's got this special ability that says non-dragons and non-wyvern units cannot damage the unit on this stack during battle. So that's whenever you attack or whenever you defend. Your opponent's units cannot damage your units unless they're a dragon or a wyvern. So that is one of the key aspects. Combine that with Kira and Sane's Reunion. Obviously the third combo card in this little combo is going to be Kira or Sane. We'll come across them in a minute. But judging that you've got one of those 2 units on a Mountain Tunnels and you've got this unit in play, whenever you attack, this Wonder will trigger and it will negate the next 500 damage dealt to them during the battle phase. So obviously that adds like an extra shield over one of the 2 sisters. Which proves that to be quite useful. 1, if you are playing against dragons, then it gives them a 500 health boost. 2, they cannot miss, so anything what says miss is just automatically a hit. And what else was there? there was something else to do with that combo as well, which proved really, you know, you attack with Kira and Sane when you've got this combination out. The opponent has to have at least 1,000 damage, more than 1,000 damage, to even scratch any of these two units. So once you've got this combination out, your deck is just a tank. Not the core, but the units in the deck. That's your ultimate combo. So we're going to go through the cards in the deck now. So we're going to have 6 steps, 5 volcanoes, pretty standard commons. You've got your Land of Your Immortals, which we've just gone through. Gem Cave. Every deck's going to have a Gem Cave, at least. GV card, very powerful. Generate 1 element of any colour. Really can't go wrong. Mountain Tunnels, again, is one of the combo cards that you need. Don't discard these cards out your hand. For the love of God, whatever you do, don't get rid of them. And do what you can to protect these tunnels. And then the last is 2 copies of Lonely Cropfield, because you're going to be playing humans. Any humans on the terrain gain 100 health, and they cannot be targeted by enemy red or black action cards. So if your opponent is playing dragons, at least they've got some coverage against the red and black of your opponent's deck. You've got the Reunion, what we've just gone through. And then here's the sisters, the 3 sisters. You've got Sane, she's white. When she enters, she deals 200 damage anywhere, to the core or to a unit. Starting from, it's a 200 to 300 units, so you know, for a free cost it's a little bit lower, but lower than average, but the battle rolls are actually a lot better. Where's she gone? So, 3, she hits and draws a card. 4, the unit gets 100 health this turn. 5, she does 300 damage to any one unit in play. And then 6, to prevent all damage any one unit deals this turn. Very useful, especially against dragons. Second sister is Iris the Fire's Edge. Now we've only got 1 copy of this version of Iris, just because of how much she costs to get into play. She is the stronger of the 2 versions of Iris, so she costs 5 red elements to get into play. Misses on a 1, hits on a 2 to a 3, 4 to a 5, she deals 400 damage to a unit not in battle this turn. And then 6, she deals 300 damage to all non-red units in play. You're not going to have many non-red units in your deck. You've got a couple of solid whites, but that's about it. Ember Mage, which is another alternate version of Iris from the GVE set, costs 3, high attack of 400 but a low health of 100. When she enters, very similar to Same, deal 200 damage anywhere you like. On a 3 she draws a card, on a 4 she gains 100 attack power, making her 500. Number 5 is a Lockdown, which is very good. All elements in play are now red. If your opponent's not playing red and they've maxed out their terrain count, then this is going to be extremely dangerous for your opponent. And then a 6 is play a red battle card from your hand for free. Don't think we do have 1 or 2 battle cards, but not too many. We're not so fussed about that. Number 6. And then you got Kira, 2 red, 2 white. A very aggressive unit. It's 500 attack, 400 health. On a 5 she gets 100 health, and then on a 6 she gets 300 attack, making her 800 attack power for just 4 costs. Very powerful unit. Make sure you get her in, make sure you get Sane in. Then you got 2 WAE cards, solid whites. Sorry, the first one is solid white, a 3 cost white, same cost as Sane, 400 units. Static ability of all your units in play gain 100 health. So that's just like an overall buff to every unit you've got in play. Very useful and very effective. 1 more rare unit, which is Ella. Costs 1 white or 1 green. Obviously we're not playing green. This would be played by a white element. 100, 200, not too bad. When she enters, you get to draw a card and recover 100 health. If you roll a 5 or a 6, not only does she hit, but she draws the card as well. So it's, you know, pretty good unit. Then you've got 2 copies of White Mage. This is just more so for healing. And then 2 copies of Agile Foot Soldier. It's half white, half red, so what's not to like about that? It's a 201 unit, 100 units. Misses on a 1 but hits on everything else, so that's a very effective unit to have in, especially at the start of the game. Then you've got 2 copies of Inconvenient Boulder. These basically clog your opponent's terrain cards, unless we've got some form of relic removal. This is to slow your opponent down at the start of a game while you get that early damage in against their core. Now we're moving on to removal. We've got some really nice removal cards in the deck. We've got 1 copy of Judgment, So for 4 whites, destroy any 1 unit on the field. Keep this at hand in case your opponent plays a power card. Then you've got 1 copy of Wrath of the King, which is 2 red, 1 white, and then 1 split red or white. Deals 300 damage to any 3 units in play. Recover 300 HP to your core, so that's nice removal and health gain at the same time. 2 copies of Burning Ambition, which is 2 red, 1 white, and then a split red. I think that's pretty much the same cost as the other one. Deal 300 damage to a target, which can be a core or unit. Draw a card, your opponent discards the top card of their deck, and you may choose to re-roll your first die in battle this turn. So if their unit does miss, then you get to re-roll and choose again. And then 1 battle card, which is Hidden Dynamite. This is more effective than it sounds. Deal 200 damage to any unit in battle, but because it's a battle card, you can spring it on your opponent during the battle phase when they least expect it. Very powerful. We've got 2 random action cards, action or response cards, one of which is a Thunderbolt. Deal 200 damage to the enemy core. That player then discards a card, so it's good early game because it's early damage, and then there's nothing worse than discarding a card at the start of a game either. 1 copy of Mage's Countermeasure. This is more so used for the Wonder Destroy effect. So you get to negate a card, your opponent discards a card, and then if you're struggling and you're low on health, then you get to destroy any Wonder currently in play. 2 weapons. We've got 1 copy of Dagger of Gold. So whenever the unit hits in battle, you get to roll a second die. If it's odds, draw a card. If it's evens, recover 200 HP to your core. So it's a nice effective unit. You don't want too many weapons in your deck, so 2 is quite a nice number to have. And then you've got these next 2 are for early element generation. So you've got 2 copies of Ruby Gemstone to help you with your red elements, and then 2 copies of Golden Nuggets to help you get your white elements out and into play. Oh, I'm getting all the sisters out there.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Spectacular situations that you need.
Get a charge on my code.
Your sweet merciful heaven. Just end me already. Okay? Oh, man. And I've played that, what you call it? Ballista there. Ooh. Yeah. I'm going all out. I'm going ham on you, sir.
I will take your hand.
So, any battle cards for you?
Actually, yes. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Look at the big juicy elements. And then I'll attack with the 2 ladies again.
And as usual, I will block with my face. And go ahead and roll.
5 and a 4. Brilliant damage to a unit. What was the other one? 4. Just hit and hit basically. 7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then it's your turn.
Go ahead and draw. Okay, I can see the game because let's see here.
Well,
here's what I got.
We might all miss. Oof. Oof.